Technology.
Cape Canaveral.
Astronauts, space exploration, and intelligent employees.
Moon landing.
A spaceship lifting off.
Spaceship.
Landing on the moon, space exploration, learning, exploring.
Beyond that, I think of building a moon base or building a habitat on Mars, both of which are huge, pie in the sky dreams, but I think that they would be really good end goals.
Spaceship.
I think of man's obligation to continue on the path of discovery.
Well, what comes to mind is the space program, and I think that's kind of true for everyone.
Space exploration.
Rocket ships.
Rocket ships, yeah.
An organization that has a great vision but is bogged down in bureaucracy and inefficient practices.
Well, most recently it's been about the space shuttles and programs and coming to conclusion, but for me growing up it was space exploration. It was about going to the moon. So it's about rockets and being astronauts. And it's also now about in the movies. You see NASA in the movies with Apollo 13.
Spaceship, like 60s, I guess, I don't know.
Instantly, the manned space program comes to mind. From Apollo, when we landed on the moon, through the Space Shuttle program, where astronauts got to perform great science with repairing the Hubble telescope and constructing the ISS.
I don't know, spaceships?
Space exploration, the NASA logo, and adventure.
Rocket ships and smart people.
When I hear the word NASA, I immediately envision the NASA logo.
The logo. The star across the acronym.
Space travel and shuttles, along with freeze-dried space food.
The government-funded group that develops space things, aka the actual NASA industry. Primarily, I think of a control room.
Space. Just space, spaceships. The moon, Apollo.
Failure by the government. They should have continued it.
Space exploration, cool missions, moon, and hopefully my future employer.
Rockets, the moon landing, space shuttle program, things like that.
It has made man go to the moon. I think it's also advanced space travel and space exploration and our understanding of what happens outside of the Earth.
New technologies. So many things were developed there that have come into civilian life. Metals, integrated circuits, plastics, computers, microprocessors. Computing was moved very quickly because of NASA.
There's something that unites the whole country about the space programs and the missions and all of that, and the collective grief when the shuttle disasters happened. And also, besides that, just like the trickle-down effect of technology, all the things that we enjoy every day because NASA engineers develop these products for space use.
Tech from NASA and its activities has put the U.S. in a leadership role in numerous industries, and those industries and the innovations that come from them are what power the U.S.'s leading capital economy.
Other than take us to the moon and build a bunch of cool stuff, nothing.
NASA inspires people to dream big and realize that if we work together, we can accomplish tough technological challenges that not only provide us with a better understanding of the universe around us, but also benefit several aspects of daily life on Earth. The activities that NASA's educational outreach programs do keep kids interested in STEM fields. NASA has played a large role in understanding weather patterns, launching science, commercial, and military satellites, and even advancing biomedical technologies.
We went to the moon.
Motivated and inspired a generation, the last one, not this one, to believe that they could conquer anything they put their mind and resources into.
NASA has made space exploration possible and allowed us to travel to the moon. We have learned most of what we know about our solar system from NASA research. NASA has also helped with airplane design and instrumentation to advance passenger and non-passenger flight.
Landed on the moon in 1954.
Spent a lot of its money.
Yeah, like put us on the moon.
They won the space race against the Soviet Union. That was huge.
It was part of my childhood. And now, after all these years, it's about the jobs that it's created, the industry of space exploration.
NASA conquered the moon for us, which is why there's an American flag there.
Well, I think it's right around 1% or just under 1% is my understanding.
Very small, too small in fact.
I really don't know.
I have no idea how much of NASA's budget comes from the governmental budget, but I suspect a huge portion of NASA is paid for by the American people through taxes. I'd be shocked if NASA did a lot of fundraising or budgeted based on private contributions. In fact, I remember hearing controversy over the budget sucker that is NASA.
Very, very little. Yeah, probably 0.001%.
Not enough.
I think NASA specifically is like, it's a fraction of a percent. I want to say it's like 0.1% of the GDP or something is funded to NASA, where like I've heard people advocate that they want to cut NASA because it's costing so much money, and it's just, it's not. It's taking up very little, and the amount of stuff that they could do if they were appropriated more money would be phenomenal.
I don't know, but I assume it is very small.
I don't.
Not very much.
I don't know, $10 million?
I didn't. I did at one point, and then what I do remember is raising my eyebrow and saying to myself, what? So it's very little.
No, I do know that the aeronautics part of the budget keeps being cut, and that needs to be reversed.
I have no idea. I think it was just decreased, though.
No, but the percentage has been shrinking and can't be anywhere near what it was in the 60s.
I do not know.
No idea. 10%.
I have no idea. 5%?
I'm sure it's in the millions or more, billions.
I feel like it was a lot, and now it's very small.
Probably less than I think it is.
I don't.
I do. They use so little of the nation's budget as it is, and I feel like if we're going to spend money on anything, it should be scientific research, and space exploration is part of that.
I think that it needs to focus more on a mission that would be good for studying the Earth and its environment, as well as solar system exploration and other activities.
I think it should be continued.
Absolutely. I don't think it's being supported enough, but I think it's essential. I think we can't just stop space travel because we don't have money. We have to keep it a part of the economy.
It should be on the back burner, but not scrapped.
Yes, a significant portion of defense spending goes to the development of new technologies, which can then contribute to the civilian market. There's no reason NASA funding does not do the same thing on a lesser scale.
Yes. NASA is about space exploration and going beyond Earth, and that's where everything is. We've doing a lot to explore and do what we can with the Earth we currently have, but we can't just stay here forever.
How can a culture in today's world move forward without opening the door to the universe?
Yes.
Okay.
I think that they represent like a national interest in space that we've kind of like lost since the Cold War, that we need to get back.
Absolutely. You can't deny the romance of space exploration. Knowing more about the universe is, in my opinion, how our civilization's progress will be measured.
Not as it stands right now. I just feel like we've been sort of doing the same things space-wise for a while now.
I actually don't. NASA could and has done some very amazing things, but at the rate that the private sector for space is growing, I think that NASA is becoming outdated. I mean, people are talking about building the elevator and the hotel in space, which has been talked about for 50 years, but it could happen one day. And I think the private sector is where we're going to see that happen.
We have real and immediate needs like poverty, illiteracy, HIV epidemic, and employment around the world. On the other hand, we're sending robotic probes into space to better understand the physical surface of the moon or Mars. What direct benefit does that offer mankind besides the knowledge that we can't apply to anything in our everyday lives?
Oh, definitely. I mean, it's always important to find new life and just different things that can add to things we already know about the Earth. You know, it might benefit us in some way, right?
Hells yeah, space is the future.
Depends on what we're doing up there.
I think so. I'm kind of biased because since I'm in the sciences anyway, things like NASA are pretty important to physics and astronomy and all kinds of other scientific areas. So it kind of saddens me when people talk about getting rid of science programs.
Yes, I do pretty much. I rely on emails that I get from NASA all the time, and also I read journals and things like this that include NASA science projects and so on.
I mostly like to look at pictures of space.
Well, mostly just the news, particularly TV news, broadcasts, particularly this last year with the completion of the Space Shuttle program and all the media that it received, and hearing bits and pieces about future NASA programs, what's next for NASA, what's next for space exploration to the moon, going to Mars.
Keep up, as in I knew that they stopped the spaceship, the shuttle program, but besides that, I don't know anything since, and I guess I got it from CNN, TV, news sources.
Yep, I usually check the NASA website and have an iPhone app too. NASA has a ridiculous amount of multimedia and live broadcasts. Wikipedia has a lot of articles on certain projects and missions too.
Not usually. I'm kind of like off and on NASA stuff, so and most of my information would come either from the website or basic news. Mostly cool stuff.
Not very much. I used to, and then I switched majors.
Not really. From time to time I read things on Reddit or hear things from Course 12 and 16 friends, but I don't make concerted effort to.
I don't. Unless it's like in the news, it's like a big thing, then I don't pay attention to it really.
Yeah, me too.
I like reading about their projects of like across all spectrums, like stuff you don't really hear about.
Space is just like an ambiguous thing. Like it's just cool to hear about it.
Yeah. From time to time, I do keep up with what NASA's doing. It's not on a regular basis. Like I'm not checking it every day, but if I see it in a news feed, if I see something on the news, I'll definitely go and check it out. Like if there's going to be a cool event, like a meteor shower, see what they're saying about it, eclipse, or like a launch or something like that. I'll definitely check it out.
Not the network news.
I keep up a little bit, and a lot of my information comes from textbooks and, of course, on the news when various stories come up.
Not really, like the little things, but if there's like a big detail, like, and I will hear about it, but probably just USA Today. I have the app on my phone, so.
Just when it pops up on CNN or whatever.
I do not, unfortunately. I probably should. But...
I'm on the fence, actually. It's, I mean, like all commercialization, it has its ups and its downs. Definitely an up is creating competition, which is good. Competition's great. It allows for efficiency and lower costs, but at the same time, like there's a concern with people holding the information that they do gain and buying and selling of information, which in this case, I don't think is a good idea.
I think that's really good. I don't see a problem with it. I'm wholeheartedly behind it.
It's needed to continue a balance of valuable resources and advance cutting-edge technology. The American way, really.
Go for it. And I think that we've learned a lot, and if that's the next phase, then that's next phase, but I go for it.
I think it's fine. I think especially if other people want to experience outside the Earth, they're going to have to commercialize it and make it more affordable. And also help NASA because then they'll be able to have more efficient rockets so they can send more into space, given their limited budget.
I think it will happen and it should happen. However, I see the federal government as a resource that should be able to be tapped for something as important as space exploration. The will of a country with the resources behind it cannot be matched in the private sector when mankind is looking into something as big as the universe.
That just makes me think of Lance Bass deciding remember that whole thing where he was going to go to space? That's the only thought I have.
It's a good thing. Since the economy is so weak, the only way space exploration is going to survive and receive substantial further support is from the private sector. Also, there's a lower risk of research being used for military purposes if the government is not funding the projects.
Like the X Prize and all that stuff. If it could be done safely, I think that'd be fine.
Why don't you develop a more comprehensive and focused program that doesn't change from year to year?
What discoveries or advancements are we close to that will not come to fruition if NASA loses more funding?
Are the Russians capable of maintaining the space station on their own?
When will we be ready to go to Mars?
I guess my question is, you always hear about on the news is with the space launch, with Space Shuttle, is how much it costs, millions, billions of dollars. You never hear anything of what, like with our economy the last several years, other industries that had to cut back. And so what is NASA doing to meet in the tough economic times? What are they doing? What are their green initiatives? That type of stuff.
Once on Mars or an asteroid, how do you transfer those resources to Earthbound humanity?
If there's one project that you could drop in order to streamline NASA's work and make it more attractive for federal funding, which would it be and why?
What are you doing to measure and communicate tangible benefits that NASA programs return, and what % return on investment is this?
When are we going to Mars?
What discoveries do you hope to make that will impact the lives of everyday people, not scientifically inclined people?
What's next?
What are his plans to balance out the research mission between aeronautics and space?
When are we going to put a human being on Mars?
In your opinion, how much money would be needed to have a really good program that covers everything we need to cover?
Can I ride the spaceship?
In your opinion, where do you see the human spaceflight program going in the next 100 years, and what are the major obstacles that have to be overcome to get there?
I had heard that a lot of NASA programs were being canceled, so I guess the question that comes to mind is why are those being canceled? Is it budgetary reasons or simply because of interest or lack of interest?
How would you make it more relevant to like schools? Because I know in school I didn't learn a lot about NASA. I mean, I still don't know a lot about it. Maybe find different ways to incorporate it in schools more, make it more known to people.
If money wasn't an issue, what is the coolest thing you could do?
Can you take me up there with you?